and welcome to Matt's Rocks. Today I'm going to work on this. This is the other half of a piece of petrified wood that I made a sample out of the other half of it. I was only able to get two slabs. I was only able to cut it in half. I was going to go side to side with it. You know, I was going to take the two halves. This isn't the other half, but I was going to take it and go cut it on the thinner angle this way, but I got to realizing that it had too many fractures running the opposite direction, so I couldn't do that away. So I'm going to go ahead and just make a cab out of this one. I made a sample out of the last piece. It was a lot thicker, but I did smooth off the face, the rough face, and made it a bigger sample because it had a lot more fractures than this one's got, I do believe. Let me go over here and look at it. Yeah, it had a nice there's the other half of the agate fortification in it. There's the other half of the sample. This is the side I cut. I didn't notice that was in there when I did this section because I couldn't see that little bit there. It was hiding underneath some of this. It was a thicker piece there on that edge, and I couldn't see that fortification in it, so I had started rounding it off, and that's after I cut it, that's when I noticed that this big one was here. But you can see that fracture along there. That whole side of it is liable to break off if I make it jewelry, so I may have to do this one the same way and make it a sample also. I'm not sure. I'll just have to see once I get this part of it ground off, because I couldn't see all the fractures on this side. This is the rough side. You can see where I didn't get it completely smoothed over. I left some of the pits in it, or some of the chips out of it, and just smoothed it down. That's when I seen all the other fractures. You can see all the fractures in there. And I thought, yeah, if I do that, when I got to looking at this fracture here, and this fracture here, that whole section was liable to come off if I smoothed this down enough. This whole section where that fortification agate was at would have come off. So I decided not to do that. So we'll see what we can get done on this one. See whether I come out with a sample or a cab, one of the two. And I'm going to start on the 80 grit, of course. Vibration over there. It looks like the spacer's a little off center in between the 600 and the 1200, but it'll probably calm down. It could be that belt's loose. That could be why it's got all that crap underneath it. I think it's a belt on top of that foam rubber. It'd be nice if there was a way you could change that. Would really be nice. think this fortification ends up here in the long run, because if you look the way these lines are running here, that's the fibers, and they'd be going, here's where it is on this side, and here's where it would be on this side, and that's the same angle as those lines. But this I might be able to open up and get it a little bigger and smooth this down. I may have to grind all of this off. I'll still have all this yellow down here. And I'll probably end up leaving this section flat anyway. Or flatter, anyhow. I don't know, we'll see. Had to get all the sharp off of it first. Keep from cutting myself. Most all of it's sharp. Lose all that limonite lace either. Over on this side, I'm liable to, but if I do, I do. As long as that fortification pays off in the end. I guess I don't have to have this side all the way flat either. Or all the way smooth, I should say. I think it's going to need to be in order to get this to pop out like it should, because I haven't even got to the quartz inclusion in the center of it yet. A little bit of a quartz inclusion there that should come out right about where that's at. There, or over here, one of the two. Yeah, up in here, I think. And it might stretch all the way across between the two. I can't really tell yet. Nope, you gotta stop that. Just gotta stop it. Gotta stop. Let's try this one. I'm gonna put some grooves in there that I didn't want in there. And I don't want to take it to the flat lap because I don't like any of those steel wheels or steel discs I got for my flat lap. I've already wore them out, I think. All I need to do with this one is get the kerf marks out of it and saw marks out of it. And the gouges I just put in it. You can see them all in there. Tried to get the sides to get a little slanted all the way around, and that didn't work too quick enough. But I'm going to put this in the tumbler, the Lotto tumbler, the Lotto twin, with some of the rest of this stuff. Wow, that's a lot of gouges. Look at those. See what I mean? That's what happens when your stone's wider, or when your rock is wider than your wheels. I thought I could get it more down enough and keep that side off of it, but it wasn't. I thought I was keeping it off of it, but I wasn't. Just because I can't see enough of it. I just don't want to have to put it in there. Lotto tumbler for a long time. If you don't use the 80 grit, 90 grit on it, you want to use that in the vibrator, or in the tumbler, and the rotary tumbler. And I'd just as soon not have to use that, because that's got to go for a week. And the other one's just 2 days per grit. Unless they're in bad enough shape like this one is, this still got. Let's try something here. This is just. Stop spitting. This is just going to be a sample. Well, it's not going to matter what kind of shape it takes in the long run. So I got too many fractures in it too to make it anything but a sample. That was from this much of the edge, so it didn't wrap around it. That was just because that much sticks out further than the other one. Got it off of there though, but yep, I'm going to stop on that one while I'm ahead. Let's see. I think I will be able to make something out of that one. I'm not positive yet. But we'll give it a shot. Here, let me just knock the edges off of them. Sharpness off the edges for now. And then I'll tumble them too. It'll be a little harder to get all that sharpness off when I've got it in the vibratory tumbler. I think my problem was that I was doing it dry, or checking it dry, instead of leaving it just a little bit wet. Leave it just a little bit wet, you can see them, whereas you can't when it's dry unless they're deep. Okay, that one's ready to go. That's the last one too. Now, what I'll do is after they come out of each stage, when I go to take them out of the tumbler, I probably won't start them today, but I'll have to remember, and I'm going to get a shot of them on the table here with all of them together and count them so I know how many are there and all of that. Let me pause this. There they are. There's 16 pieces, and I'll show them to you again when I take them out of the tumbler and show you which ones work and which ones don't. And we'll go from there. I don't know, so I'll see you then. Oh, I'm back. I've got the results of this petrified wood that I tumbled after I ground down on it. I showed you what I shaped some of them down to before I put them in the tumbler, but I wanted to show you what they looked like after they came out of the tumbler. I did three steps. I went straight to the 120 or 220 grit in the vibratory tumbler for the first section or first go round, and then the second step was the 1200, and then third step was the micron aluminum oxide. Let me wipe these off again real quick. Got fingerprints all over them. I should have washed my fingers. Matter of fact, I think I'll do that. Pause the camera here. Okay, I'm back. This will give you a good idea how broke up they were. It'll be on the beginning part of the video, and the reason why I started doing that. They were just going to be too chipped up. There's one of the pieces. You can see all the fractures in it. They were going to be too chipped up, and I got a real good polish on them with that 3 micron aluminum oxide. I think 2 or 3 microns. I'm not sure what size they are, but you can see all the fractures in these. And here they are down here as they're finished, and I'll pick them up one at a time and show them to you one at a time. I think I already just showed you this one. As you can see, it's still got chips out of it along this fracture here. Same with this one, but this side's got fracture in it. It's got a few little chips. It's got chips coming up through here. You can see the places where where it's chipped out at the edges of the fractures. But I knew the vibratory tumbler wouldn't mess them up, wouldn't break them up like the rotary tumbler would. So I put them in the vibratory tumbler with the. There's the other side of that one. Put them in the vibratory tumbler with the ceramic pellets in there to use as to rub up against them. They were all flat, and I didn't want them to break. I didn't want to put any round rocks in there, or harder rocks, or bigger rocks, or anything like that in there. But they all came out pretty good, I think. Shiny. They came out shinier. I'll show you here in a second once we get through all of these. Well, we won't show you all of them. We'll just show you some of the better ones that come out. You can still see that a lot of them are still got fractures on the back and pits and hollows in the outside edges. This one's fractured on the back pretty bad too. Or on the front pretty bad too. That was the front. That was the front. This is the front. That's the back. They're all pretty rough shape. But I figured that this way I could take some of these and maybe just hang them on a I've got some stainless or some silver eyelets that you just glue onto the back of flat back pieces. This I'm just going to leave as a tumbled rock. It's just too. I couldn't really do a whole lot with it anyway. I'd have lost so much of it, I wouldn't have had a whole lot left. It wouldn't have been very big, so that one will be tumbled. And these are just where they broke up, as they were breaking up before I even started tumbling after I slabbed them. They started breaking up, but I can put one of those eyelets on them and sell them for kids' necklaces and that type of stuff, and it won't make a whole lot of difference. So this one here is one of the better ones of the ones that I've got, and it's only because it's pretty fractured on the back, but the front's not too bad on it, and it's got a little fracture coming around the side on both sides. But I did shape some of them down a little bit, ground off some of the bark. As you can see on some of these, I left some of the inner bark just so that you can tell that it's petrified wood. And it didn't shine up too bad. And it did shine up a lot better. Let me get those two samples. And this one here, this is an end. These are both from this is one piece of rock between these two samples that I've got. I just cut it in half long ways, and that's when I seen the fortification agate up here in this top section. And so I decided I wasn't going to do anything with it, and that's the one I tumbled. And the back of it, I didn't even grind the back of this. I ground it a little bit, but not much, only because the front part of that or the outside end of that, you could see the fortification pocket. But at the time, it had a bunch of white stuff about like this bark, about the same color of this inner bark, but it was just a white, soft white, sandy looking stuff, and that's the one I put in the vibratory tumbler, and this is the other half of it. As you can see, it's got the fortification in it too. It's the back half of it, but you can see it's not quite as shiny as the other one. Now, I did this on the cabin machine, and I think I took the face of it. I took the face of it to that aluminum oxide, but I didn't use the vibratory tumbler on that for first. I'm going to go put this back in with some other, I'm going to take some of the rest of the ones, all the other ones that I made that came out bad, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the vibratory tumbler too, and see what happens to those, and see if I can get them to come out this shiny like this one is. Some of the other cabs, I've got quite a few of them. And they're definitely harder to see, but I've got them all in plastic bags. I'll have to take them out of those plastic bags anyway. Matter of fact, I ought to do that now. Go ahead and take those out. But this would be, these are, I'm not going to do another video on these, so I'll just leave that for a different time. I just wanted to show you the difference between the two, and it's just amazing, because the final polish that I used on this is the same aluminum oxide that I use on my flat lap, that I used on some of these that I polished, and still couldn't get all the scratches out. But I didn't run these, these through the this one. I'd almost have to run this through the 120 or 220 again in order to get it to come out like this one, I think, because there's still scratches in there that you can see from the crystals breaking out onto the wheels, and it left scratches from the quartz crystal in there, or the edges of the fractures, inclusions, white inclusions, edges of the fractures breaking out, that type of stuff. Whereas if when it's in the flat lap, or when it's in the tumbler, those all just pile away and get smaller and smaller as they go, because they're hitting on the other ceramic pellets and the rest of the other pieces. So they end up grinding down smaller, where they don't do as much damage as they would on the, say, the flat lap, or say or on the cabin machine. But, and so that's the end of those from this batch. And I will be go ahead and doing this. I'll be making a video on this too. I've got the last ones. I think I did something else after this. Oh, I did this one here was one of the last ones I made on the cabin machine. One of the ones that had the least amount of fractures and least amount of chips and flaws is the ones that I thought would stand up better are the ones I did on the cabin machine, and so I'm going to do this video for this one, and the video for this one, for these, and then I'll when I do the editing, I still got to go on to find some music to put on there, because I want to cut out the volume completely from the ones that I fast forward, because I'll be fast forwarding some of them, and others I won't. Other clips I won't fast forward, but whatever ones I need to, or to cut down on time, I'll fast forward some of those in between places where I talk. And so I got to get some canned music that's not copyrighted from YouTube, or I might be able to get it from DaVinci Resolve, which is the software that I'm using to edit the program or edit the videos with. and they may have some that's not licensed that I don't have to get a license to use or pay to use, and we'll go from there. When I start editing the videos, I'm going to put an old one in and a new one in, and a new one in and an old one, and then a new one, and then maybe I'll just start, because all the old ones that I've got that I've already edited, it shouldn't take me long to go back through, and every place I fast forwarded them, because I've got some that are 2 different links. I edited for 2 different links for the same project, and I'll fast forward, or I'll put in the music on those so that it's not quite so boring. See how you have to listen to it and watch it through all that crap. If that's what you want to do, I'm going to make it where you don't have to if you don't want to. Is what I'm going to try to do, because some of the ones that I did, I think I spent on that one that I was telling you that I'm going to make the first video on this one here. It took me 4 hours to do this. And there's no way you're going to want to sit and watch 4 hours of me grinding on one piece of rock. I know. I originally, I still want to put it out where you can see all the little problems that you come up with when you're doing it, and how to get that problem worked out. Like when you get down to a spot where you've got, all of a sudden you've opened a vug. What you got to do there, and I'm trying to show you the stuff that I've taken out and put back in, or taken out, and areas that are hard to get to. And I've got some labradorite videos too that should be fairly educational on labradorite. Even though I still don't know all that much about labradorite, it'll help you to figure out what to do with really bad quality labradorite. Because I ground on one for 4 hours one day and never could get any more. It had labradorescence when I started on the slab, but it didn't take. And I was using the 220 grit wheel to start off with on it, because labradorite's a lot softer, and it was just you would grind for just a little bit to try to get it opened up further away from where it was at, get the labradorescence to spread out over the whole stone. See if you can find a way to get it to spread out over the whole stone, but it would just slowly start disappearing back the opposite direction. And the more you ground, the more you lost. And so you got to go down to the next layer and see if you can find some there. And it wasn't layered like the good quality labradorite that's got good solid layers, all the same, going the same direction. They were all layered kind of like this, twisty turny, and it had a lot of inclusions, sandy inclusions, like some of these have, softer inclusions that ground away faster, and it had quite a few fractures in it too, which was even worse than this pet wood has been so far. Hopefully I'll be able to find me some better pet wood when I go out on my own, and be able to get out there and actually do any searching like I didn't get to do the last time I went, or the only time I went. So thanks for watching, and please like, subscribe, and share. Leave a comment, leave some advice. I don't mind advice. And I hope you enjoy these videos. That's what I'm wanting to do, is make good content. And so thank you very much, and have a good day.